So this is going to be a true DIY. See if an average Joe can turn their yard into professional looking artificial turf. So this is my part of my front yard. I'm going to turn this into artificial turf. So what I've done so far is, as you can see here, the grass is, you need a lot of watering in West Texas to keep the grass nice and green. So instead of watering all the time, what I'm doing is putting in artificial turf. So I've dug out 4 inches, or I'm going to dig 4 inches in the whole yard here, and I'm doing this all by hand with a shovel. And then I'm going to put 4-inch gravel down. 4-inch gravel, and I actually built the border here around. So once I put the gravel down, I'll compact it, and then put the turf down. So this will be a true test to see if an average Joe can actually do this, or they need to hire a professional. This next step, what I did was create a border, a 4-inch height and width concrete border. I pointed it out earlier. So what I'm doing is just dug up 4 inches of dirt and then putting 4 inch of base of gravel for the concrete to sit on. Just a safety precaution, that so it doesn't sink into the dirt. I'm pretty sure you probably don't need this base embedding because it's such a small border, so there's not a lot of weight to it. So next, really what I'm doing is I'm just creating my form for the concrete to go in using 2x4, and then leveling it off with the string line there you see I created. Then the spacer there, that's 4 inches also, so that way I'll have for sure 4-inch spacer border around. So here's the completed form, and with the concrete poured in. And of course, everything's by hand, mixing concrete and wheelbarrow. It's a little hot right now. It's probably like actually 80 degrees in February in Texas, so I made this mixture a little bit wetter because when I put it down, it dries up really quick with 80 degrees. And see here, now I'm gonna just smooth it out. Then once I do that, where's my edging tool? Here it is. Then I pretty much put a nice edge on there. Just like that. Back and forth. Work the imperfection in. Of course, and then you do this side. Once I put the edge in, I'll smooth out the center. Like so. And then it looks like that. Here's the final result of border edging. All in all, it looks very good. All right, thanks. Thanks, everyone. So I just finished digging up like 2 to 3 inch of my front yard here to put gravel in, like that side there, and then I'll put the turf down. So instead of hand tampering everything with that hand tamper or renting plate compactor, I took my truck and drove it up and down the yard until the ground is hard. So you can see all my tracks here. All right, let me know if anyone else has done that instead of using a tamper or a plate compactor. So you can see all my tire tracks. A couple of spots I miss is over here. Okay, so I just finished obviously digging up all the dirt. That took a long time. It took me a few hours every day for about a month or so. And then I took all the dirt out. Now I put in the base, which is jogging path and 3/8 limestone. So that will compact pretty tight. And this is a 25 by 30. So let me see, how many yards did I get? I got a total of, let's see, 4, 5, 6, probably like 7 yards to fill all this up. 25 by 30, and probably like 3 to 4 inches deep. So I'm almost done. I'm just leveling it off. Then once I'm done with this, I'm gonna actually water it down so that way it's packed, and then I'll either pack it down by hand tamper or rent a plate compactor, or I'll use my truck like I did before with the dirt. We'll see. So here, I chose to use my truck again to pack down the gravel. Of course, I wetted it down and then used my truck to pack it down instead of using a hand tamper or a plate compactor. And it worked actually really well. It was really hard after I was done. Of course, I had to smooth it out with a hand tamper, of course, because the tire marks all over the place. So driving my truck over the gravel worked pretty good. It's actually pretty hard, but there's still spots I have to smooth out, obviously. And I'm just gonna use my hand tamper for that. So yeah, actually using my truck to pack this down is a good idea again, without using a plate compactor. So I finished hand tampering all the high spots and so forth with my good old hand tamper there. So everything looks smooth and flat, and everything's packed in, compact in with the, so everything's very hard. Some little softer spots like this has more gravel. So now next step is deciding which way to lay the artificial grass, whether I go this way or this way. So I've done some measurement, and I'm going to figure out which way the best to lay it down without doing a lot of cuts and so forth. So as a reminder, I didn't use any of the weed barriers. I used cardboard weed barriers. I've used different ones and they just don't work. The weed comes right up, so don't waste your time on weed barriers. And I didn't use any chemicals, so we have enough chemicals already in our environment. So I just dug up the dirt, used cardboard, and then I put the gravel on top, and it's been like about 2 months, and as you can see, no grass at all. No grass came up. Yeah, so today the artificial turf will come in, and then I'll put it down. If you want to put a weed barrier, you can certainly put one on top of here, but I'm not going to. It's just a waste, because it'll come, the grass will come right up if it does. As you can see here, like here, for example, see that grass cut there? There's a weed barrier right there. See? It comes right up all through there. See? Weed barrier. But if you come over here, all this here has grass, and I use a weed barrier. If I come over here, this side, I didn't use any weed barrier. I used cardboard box under it, and there's no weeds at all. And honestly, here in West Texas, I'm not worried about the weed coming up. It's the weeds that are blown. It's really windy here, and all the weeds will actually come on top of your barrier, not in the bottom. Okay, so the artificial turf came today. So it's 75 feet that way and then 12 feet that way, and I rolled it out, and about 4 hours. That's what they recommend. Leave it 4 hours out to let the grass can actually pop back up and whatever else. And now I measure that. What I want right now, the first run is 25, a little bit over 25 feet from there to the end. So I measure it and I put a straight piece of wood, and then I'm gonna cut it across. The best way to cut this is I put whatever that is, an inch and 1x4, so it's straight. I put it down and I put some cardboard on the bottom, and I use a utility knife and I cut across. It's much easier than trying using a scissor. I tried using a scissor, but it didn't. It cut, but it actually wasn't strong enough. So maybe they make an industrial scissor to cut this, but the best way was, like I said, put that down and push hard on it. But it's kind of tricky because you put this down, the grass is kind of like not even, so you gotta push hard. And so what I'm doing is all the way across here. It's not quite even from this end to this end, and this end to this end. Originally what I was gonna do is I found the midpoint right here, and this is 12 feet that way. I was actually gonna put it right in the center here, and then have 6 feet on one side of the other of the midpoint, and then there will be about maybe another 6 feet on this side, and then 7 feet on that side. That's what originally I was gonna do, but now I think I'm just gonna do is lay one stretch down this way, 12 feet, then 12 feet this way. There's not gonna be a stretch. Then see where the piece of wood there, and the rock out there is. That's gonna be so that's gonna be from here to here is 12 feet. From there to there is 12 feet. And from there to there, I don't know, what is that, 5 feet or so. And from there to there, maybe 3 or 4 feet. So I think I'm just gonna do that. And also you wanna look at the way the grass blade points at. There's definitely a direction. The grass blade here is pointing this direction downwards. So make sure, however you want to place it, all your turf should face the same direction. And actually, if you take a look at this way versus this way, I don't know which way is better. I think I'm just gonna do it like this way, so that actually the street, it seems to me like the blade is pointing at the street, and when you're looking at it, it looks better. So I'll do it that way. All the blades are facing the street. That's what I'll do. So again, this is what I decided to do. One strip here. That's 12 feet across here. 12 feet across here, and then you can see here, this here is probably like 2 or 3 feet. Down there is probably like 5 feet. Kind of experiment with the seam. I know I've seen people do like kind of S shape all the way up. I actually tried that with a long strip, and I can still see the seam, so I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna have it straight. So you'll definitely see the seam. So a rough layout right here. I haven't cut anything yet. I haven't seamed it down. I haven't put nails down or anything. So this is about where I want it, and then I'm gonna now start fine trimming, cutting around. Again, with the utility knife down there, and then I have to tamper there because there were some spots I walked around, I felt some low rocks, and I just kind of tampered down. So I got majority of this cut up. So all this here is cut. That strip at the end is not. So what I'm doing now is actually, I actually want to seal this seam in. I bought self-adhesive seam tape. Let's give that a try. I know a lot of people use seam tape, but they have to put adhesive down. So let's see how this goes. I'll give you a review in a year, see if it'll last or not. So I'm gonna put this seam down. So the reason I'm putting the seam down is I want to make sure there's no gaps or anything once I pull all these in. So if that's the case, I can cut that edge perfectly. And then once I put the seam here and the seam there, then I will finish the cuts around the perimeter of that side, and then I'm going to put nails down and put the sand down for the turf. Not actual sand, it's the artificial stuff that you put on the turf to keep the weight down, and I'll show you when I do it. So here all you do is pull up the tape and then put this down. But what I'm going to do is, you want to put this down, but make sure the grass is not like down like this, right? It's going to just get stuck like that. What I want it is make sure this is down and the grass is up, so that way it'll be a little bit better to cover up the seam. So hopefully, as you can see here, you can't even see the seam. Like that. Alright, so now I have everything cut to length, width. Everything's cut. Put some of those buckets there to right on the seam to hopefully keep it patted down, tight, so the seam stays tight. There are some areas I will have to do some trimming a little bit longer, like here. So now everything's done. What I'm doing is put nails every like 6 inches all the way around the perimeter. And then what I'm gonna do is also put nails on where the joints are, or where the seam is at. Stagger it, one here, one here, one here, one here, every other. And then once that's done, I'm gonna put I think it's called infill. Yeah, like this here. This infill stuff down. I think I'm gonna need more than I have 12 buckets. I think I'll probably need more. Alright, so I think I'll have to take a break first. Take a long break, put the nails down, put the artificial sand infill down. I'm not sure what I'm going to do today. It's hot here in West Texas. I've been working on all day today. It's like 90 degrees out here. A good thing there's no humidity, so. So I have a bag of these, I think they're 5.5 or 6 inch galvanized nails. They're made for this turf. So what I'm gonna do is actually put them in every 6 inches, but I see people on YouTube, they just put it in and they nail it down. What that does is it pulls down these this fake grass, whatever. So what you wanna do is separate it. Wherever you wanna put it, separate the grass strand. You can actually see See, I put it in where there's no grass. I'm not really sure if you can actually see, but I have the nails and there's no, they're like empty spots, right? So there's no grass, with these fake grass leaves or grass coming up. And that's where I put the nail. And then I kind of, from there, put it down this way, so that way I'm not, and then if there's any grass strands in the way, I move out of the way, so that way, see? Can't even see it. Where, like I said, I've seen people on YouTube, they just pound it in, and then it just leaves a divot. Just kind of like pretend, you know, this is my finger's a nail, but you push it in, it leaves like a divot. You know, make sure there's no strand stuck in there. Here, I'm gonna like 6. You know what? I might go like 12 inches. 6 is about here, 12 is about here. Yeah, I'm gonna say about 12. So we're almost at the finish line here. So I got the nails from here to here to here done. And then after I got finished the nails from there to there, and then I got put the infills in here. This thing recommends 1 pound of infill per square inch. So, and then that's 25 pounds. So basically, I'm putting one of these for 5 feet by 5 feet. You know? So that's 25 square yard. I'll probably need like more. So I have 12. I probably need 12, 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 more of these. And they're like $25 a piece. So you can see what this is, the infill looks like. What I'm doing is I'm gonna brush it against the grain, you know, so the grass is leaning this way. So I'm gonna brush against it. So what this infill stuff does is it helps to keep the grass up, and of course it keeps the weight on the grass, so it's not gonna fly around. It's gonna be solid. So of course I'm gonna be doing that to the whole area by hand. I don't have a power brush. Like you see people do on YouTube. Everything I've done so far is all manual. Everything that you have, so I'm just gonna basically brush it in. You can use what is that called? That blows, the leaf blower. I do have one of those, but I think I'll do that in this area because at the edge I don't want it blowing all over the place outside of the grass. So I'm just brushing against the grain, or guessing, so I hope you can see it stands up. Okay, so I finished doing the infill for this area and up, and this area does not have the infill, but honestly, looking at it, I can't even tell the difference. The grass here is sticking up up there sticking up. It looks the same to me, so I'm not even sure if that's even worth putting down, like all these pro say put it down. I think it might be a marketing scheme just to sell these infills. But actually, I'll let you know, because I'll let this area stay here for like about 2 weeks, and then when I come back, compare, and then we'll see if it's still the same or not. As of right now, there's no difference between this area and that area. You can see there's no difference. So this is like right here is where the infill is. Down here is not. You can't tell the difference. So, okay, I guess I'll leave this area open for like 2 weeks and see. So it's been like 3 weeks since I finished this. And here, this area here, right here is where I put the infill. And this area down here, I did not put the infill. And supposedly what the infill does is it keeps the grass blades standing up higher, but you can't even tell the difference. This is the area where I put the infill in. You can't tell the difference between that and this area where I didn't put the infill in. And the blades are like the same. How it stands up, the same. The only thing I can think of is maybe the infill also keeps the turf down with the wind, like it doesn't fluff like this. But this is the area where it doesn't. I didn't put the infill. You can see it has give, but same thing as this. There's plenty of give. So I don't really know what else they do other than buy a marketing thing to make you buy more things. You know, when you install these things. So yeah, next time if I do this again, would I use the infill? Absolutely not. I would not use the infill. It's kind of a waste of money. Each of those little buckets was like about $23, $24. So I would not use that again. I would just leave it, not put it in. So this job took me about 3-4 weeks, or maybe a little bit longer actually, because I don't have a lot of time. I did it in whenever I had time, an hour here, an hour there. So if you were to do this whole thing and you had like 2-3 days straight, you can get this done, no problem. And this job as a do-it-yourselfer, would I consider this a do-it-yourselfer? Oh, absolutely. On a scale 1 through 10, 1 being the easiest, I would say this is 1. It's not very difficult. It's just time-consuming. The most difficult part was actually digging out all the dirt, because I used one little shovel to dig out like 4 inches of dirt through all here. That was the most difficult part. You could have done it faster. You can rent like a mini skidder, and that would have taken you like 10-15 minutes to dig out all that dirt. And then of course I didn't rent a plate compactor. I use a hand tamper and my truck to flatten the ground and made the ground hard again. So it's all hand labor. Everything was hand labor. So absolutely, this is you can do it yourself. So this is the before and after pictures of the project. Yeah, definitely is someone you can do it yourself. Just it's time consuming. That's it.